Hello and welcome to SWS 2.0. My name is T S Sudhir. This is where we focus on spoken English, communication skills, and personality development. One of the feedback points that I have got is we often fumble when we speak in English. We miss out on words that we need to use correctly in a particular sentence, and that sounds very bad. It shows us in a very poor light. How do we deal with this? Before I start, I want to dispel one notion that most Indians seem to think, that we think Brits and Americans are so smart because they can speak such fluent English. But please remember, English is their mother tongue, whereas for most of us, it's either Tamil or Punjabi or Bengali or Odia or Assamese, Marathi, Gujarati, whatever, so many languages that are there in India. English is a language which we learn only after a year or two when we are probably getting into LKG, nursery kind of school, right? We don't get to speak the language before that, usually in most households. So there is no need to develop any kind of inferiority complex that, अरे हमारी English उतनी अच्छी नहीं है. We have a lot of time, and trust me, if you are with SWS, I'll make sure that you master the language, know the nuances, know the finer points on how to kind of master the English language. Also, please remember that English is just a language. Nevertheless, it's an important language. Why? Because it helps you move up the steps of the professional ladder that much faster. That's why English becomes so much important. As I said in the first video, what actor Manoj Vajpayee had said, in India, English is not just a language, it's a skill. So it's a skill that you and I need to master out here. So the attitude should be, अरे इतनी सारी भाषाएं हमने सीखी हैं, right? Many of us, especially like in South India, we actually know more than 2-3 languages. I know English. I grew up in Delhi, so I know Hindi. I know Tamil, which is my mother tongue. I know Malayalam. I know Telugu, right? Though I would say that my Telugu is not so great. But you know so many languages, you can either understand, speak, even if not read and write. So that's an important skill to have. So never get overawed by that. Now to come to the moot point. Please remember that if you are speaking and you get stuck at a particular word, you are not able to remember, what do I need to say at this specific point in time? Substitute it with another word. It's quite possible, and I'll take an example and explain it to you. Because most of us tend to learn very heavy words because we want to impress others. So we look up a dictionary or take up any book and learn big words in order to sound very impressive, in order to sound very smart. Sometimes that's not quite the best strategy to adopt. So what you need to do, for example, you have learned a word like, let's say, resplendent. Resplendent is a synonym for beautiful, someone looking very lovely, very pretty. So you want to compliment somebody and say, you're looking resplendent in this lovely blue sari. But at that precise moment, when you want to compliment the lady, you are not able to remember the exact adjective that you had learned. इतनी शिद्दत से याद किया था, उस समय पर धोखा दे दिया, दिमाग ने याद नहीं आया. Rest क्या था? Restless मत कह देना. You are looking very restless मत कह देना. So what you need to do, immediately दिमाग की बत्ती जलनी चाहिए, and you should kind of come down a step lower and say, you're looking very beautiful in this sari. You're looking very pretty in this sari. You are looking very lovely in this blue sari. Right? Because let me ask you a counter question. गाड़ी चलाते हैं आप में से जो जिनके पास भी ड्राइविंग लाइसेंस है या ड्राइविंग जानते हैं, 4th गियर पे अगर स्पीड कम हो जाए एंड गाड़ी खड़खड़ करने लग जाए, व्हाट डू? You come down to the 3rd gear or to the 2nd gear so that the engine does not get switched off. So your engine also should not get switched off. Therefore, you come down by a lower gear, and when you remember the word, when the speed increases, you move it to 3rd gear, you will remember a better word. You move it to 4th gear, you'll remember an even better word. You probably even move it to 5th gear if the speed is good and it's a clear road, you can go. That should be your attitude. So the same funda you should adopt whenever you fumble. Just come down to a lower word, a lesser difficult word or a more easy word which your mind remembers. Okay. Tip number 2, speak slowly. Most of us have this habit, especially when we are feeling nervous, we tend to speak faster, right? I'm sure many of you would agree with me there. So this leads to mistakes, especially at the beginner stages. At the beginner stages, this leads to more mistakes because you are very nervous. And the more nervous you are, the more mistakes you are likely to commit. So my advice to you would be, and this I'm saying from experience, slow down. Slow down, allow the mind to think. Never get nervous because of a pause. A pause is like an extended comma. There is absolutely no need to get nervous. What will the other person think if you are taking a pause and not saying the next word or the next sentence? So never feel nervous because of you pausing in between a sentence or at the end of a sentence. Ensure that you stress and emphasize on every word so that what you speak is more clear to the other person. That should always be your aim. Let me use a better word here. Aim मैंने बता दिया, याद रहेगा. That should be your intention. Third gear. Fourth gear में I'm using a word called endeavor. ENDEAVOUR. Endeavor. So that should be. So I've told you aim, your intention, your endeavor, right? So that's how you kind of correlate synonyms and lock it in your mind, and that's how you remember the words and you use it according to the particular situation. Okay, I'll tell you one more tip after this. So it's like, on the keyboard, if you type very furiously, computer will say, शांत गदाधारी भीम शांत, इतना जल्दी टाइप करोगे तो मेरे को प्रोसेस नहीं हो रहा है. So your computer also, your laptop also sometimes gives up if you type very furiously या किसी एक की को बार बार दबाते रहते हैं. The same funda. Allow your mind also to process the information that is coming, relate to the tongue, right? Give it time. That's all I'm saying. The mind and the tongue should always work together in sync. It's teamwork. Okay, they are like Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli. Partnership chahiye, so they have to bat together for a longer period of time. Point number 3, tip number 3 is go to someone who is good in speaking English and converse with the person for a longer period of time without mixing any other language. My challenge would be do it for 10 minutes, at least as a beginning stage. In the beginning stage, speak continuously to a person only in English for 10 minutes. उस समय पर बीच में मराठी या पंजाबी या जो भी आपकी मदर टंग है उसको बीच में मत लेके आइए. जिस तरह से मैं अभी बात कर रहा हूं उस तरह से आप बात करके खिचड़ी मत बनाइए. Speak only in English. It will test you. Even if you are taking a pause, even if you are taking time to think about the appropriate word, think. It's okay. It's okay. Of course, the other person should be someone who encourages you, okay, who helps you. But speak in English. Put that pressure on your mind to think in English. Train the mind to think in English. That's important. That's important. I'll give you an example. In badminton, since I've covered sports for a very long period in time, especially badminton, and I've written a book also, if the coach feels that the right hand of the, let's say, the forehand from the back of the court is not strong for the particular player, so the coach will do like one day only kind of keep on throwing the shuttle to the back of the court to see whether the player is able to retrieve it using the forehand. So whatever is your weak point, keep on focusing on it. Similarly, for you to learn English, ensure that you put that mind under pressure, like the badminton player puts the forehand under pressure, in order to ensure that you are able to say that मैं ये कर सकता हूँ. I can do this without mixing it with any other language. Then familiarize yourself with common and popular idioms and phrases. Okay, because knowing these expressions will do two things. One, it will make your spoken English more smart, more stylish. Okay, and it will help you also convey your thoughts in a more easygoing manner, in a more fluent kind of manner, in a more fluid kind of manner. Okay, for instance, if it's raining very heavily, you can say it's raining cats and dogs. It will just make the way you speak that much more stylish, he's not saying ki it's raining outside. He's saying it's raining cats and dogs. It's a heavy downpour, right? So you're using more stylish kind of English. So learn a few idioms and phrases. I'm not saying learn 20 in a day. Your mind will not be able to process it. Learn 1 or 2 in a day. Okay, that's the way you should do it. Or if you are saying that I'm depending on you, मैं तुम्हारे भरोसे हूँ. So what you could do, I'm depending on you. That is the third gear ka phrase. You want to do better, you can say, I'm pinning my hopes on you. Pinning. I'm pinning my hopes on you, which means that I'm depending on you for your help, that you are the one who is going to bail me out of this difficult situation. This is fifth gear, right? Third, fourth, fifth gear, 3 different phrases. Use whichever comes to your mind, whichever you can remember in a particular situation. Okay. Work on expanding your vocabulary. And for this, you can do 2 things. One, you can create some kind of a word journal, right? Which you can keep seeing whenever you are free. 2 word भी देखो, याद रहेगा. Note कर लिया, अगले दिन शाम को 6 बजे आप 5 मिनट के लिए free हैं. Just take it out and see it. Or you can use flashcards, which you can even paste on the wall near your study table if you're a student, or any other part of your home if you are a professional, or in your office, wherever, so that the more you keep seeing those words, what I just now told you, I'm pinning my hopes on you, I'm hoping that you will bail me out. These kind of 2 phrases you write the meaning, write a sentence as an example. You keep seeing it for 24 hours, it will get imprinted in your mind. Definitely, I give you a guarantee on that. So that's what, and start using it in your conversation. It will become part of your vocabulary. Own it like that. Ye 2 ho gaye, agle din 2 aur lagao. That's how you kind of keep on improving your vocabulary and your spoken English. Read aloud, which is always the best thing to do. Now, newspapers will be written in formal language. Let's say you pick up any play, and I have got a book out here. This is an NCERT book, On the Face of It by Susan Hill, which is a play. So there will be 2 or 3 or 4 characters. So you can actually, and this will be more conversational. I'll give you an example. Mr. Lamb says, mind the apples. Derry, who is that? Who is there? This is how we speak, right? Lamb is my name. Mind the apples. Crab apples those are. Wind falls in the long grass. You could trip and fall down. So be careful. Derry says, I thought this was an empty place. Who are you? I never saw you before this. I didn't know that there was anyone out here. That's all right. You can come right in. There is no one else. I live alone here. Yes, I saw that the house was empty. That's what I thought. No one actually lives here. So what I'm trying to say is that this is conversational English, right? This is the way you will speak in English. And that's what I want you to practice. So apart from a newspaper, which will give you an idea about the kind of prepositions to use, the kind of phrases to use, reading a play aloud will help you kind of get into more conversational kind of mood. So that's another tip that you could follow. Finally, always make it a habit, even if it's for 10 minutes in a day, listen to any good English speaker. It could be a podcast, it could be a YouTube video, it could be one of my favorites, Harsha Bogle. Listen to Indian people in the beginning, people who speak well. Listen to Harsha Bogle. If you're interested in cricket, you can enjoy the cricket. You can listen to all the fabulous information that he puts out. Apart from the fact that you can also keep on listening to the kind of words and the phrases that he uses to make his English so very stylish. So I hope you would be making use of all this. Please write in to let me know what you thought of this. And as I said, share the video with as many friends as possible. Subscribe to the channel and of course, support us in this SWS 2.0 endeavor, right? Thank you very much for watching.